Dear comrades, my name is Andrew Irumba Katsebe, your speaker of the Pan-African Pyramid. And now I have met a Pan-African Honorable Odonga Otto. And the Honorable Odonga Otto is the founder of Breaking the Chains Africa. Honorable Odonga Otto, I'm glad to meet you again.
Nice to meet you.
Now, when you say Breaking the Chains Africa, what do you mean? What does this mean? When did you start this? Why did you start this? And explain how chained is Africa.
When I left Africa, I decided to go to Europe. I decided even to go to Europe to where I don't speak English. So that's how I ended up in Spain. I wanted a new environment.
Where they don't speak English?
Yes, so that I can
So how did you
refigure my world. So I lived in Madrid and Barcelona, and it is from there that I studied Africa from a European perspective. Because all along I had been studying Africa from an African perspective. So as I talk now, I even did it at a master's in political philosophy and specializing in these African studies. So that is when I decided to form the organization Breaking the Chains Africa. Africa is in chains. We are in political chains, we are in economic chains, we are in religious chains. And if we don't break those chains, we shall always be in those chains.
Explain how is Africa in economic chains? How is Africa in religious chains? How is Africa in any chains that you may define?
Okay, I spent 6 months at the University of Pompeo Fabra studying pre-Christ history. This is history before Jesus Christ, before Yesu Christu. AD. Remember, there are people who are before Jesus.
No, this is
Jesus and Christianity is 2,000 years old. That is Anno Domini.
To be precise, 2024. That is
2024 years.
24 years.
Yes. So what I studied is pre-2024. So there is a lot of literature, incredible literature, Socrates, Plato, there are so many. Now what I realized that Africa first is in a religious change. The white man brought their religion here and introduced it into the African continent. If I may ask you a question, is God Muslim or Christian?
God, I don't.
It's a difficult question.
It's a difficult question.
We have given God a religion. We have militarized God. In Africa, we have struggles in the name of God, the Maji Maji rebellion, the Mau Mau rebellion, the Holy Spirit movement, the Joseph Kony, Lord's Resistance Army. We have militarized God, the Alice Lakwena. So we have the European religion brought into the African continent, destroyed the African culture and destroyed the African traditional religion. Now, if you cannot answer the question whether God is Muslim or Christian or Hindu or a nihilist or Buddhist, the same way the answer can probably be that God is traditional African. So the European religion has worked on the African mindset. First of all, being an ex-seminarian, it's very painful for me. I used to think life started in the Garden of Eden.
Yeah, where did it start? That's what they tell us.
Hinduism is 2,000 years older than Christianity. Yes.
Hinduism had been in existence
for 2,000
years before Christianity
came in. So what does that tell you about the story of the Garden of Eden? It means it's not true. Because there was life before the Garden of Eden. Islam came out 500 years after Christianity.
Islam?
Yes, Islam came 500 years after Christianity, but Hinduism has been there for 2,000
years before Christianity.
Yes, so that means even without Christianity, there was already life, even in this part of Africa. So the white man created a European god,
put him in
Eden,
and he said life has started now.
Removed him from Israel, took him to Italy, and then from Italy brought him to Africa. And then from Britain brought them to Africa. That's why they tell me, and actually from Pade, that I'm a Roman Catholic. I'm not even a Roman. So I'm an Acholi. So how do you tell me I'm a Roman Catholic? Then for you say United Protestants of Canterbury. So the European religion came to African continent and is doing a big disaster. It is doing a big disaster. Now, be it as may, there are some problems in Africa which we can solve using the traditional African methods. We know we do exorcism in the traditional African way. People possessed by spirits. You can bring 1,000 bishops here and the spirit will not leave that person. But when you do it the traditional African way, you'll find that somebody is cleansed and is facing the world. So, why are we doing exorcism in the name of an Israeli
I also remember recently when there is this man who shot your trade mate.
Yes.
Matoput. Yes, yeah. Matoput.
Yes, traditional healing. We communicate with our elders. Every religion in this world has a way of communicating to the spiritual realm. And that is the essence of religion. Every religion.
Spiritual realm. So there is
a spiritual world, the God of our ancestors. Now let us go back 4 billion years ago.
4 billion.
Let's go rewind the clock very fast. 4 billion years ago. Before the continental drift.
You see the world is 3,000 billion years old.
Yes. So let's go back.
We go 4 billion
4 billion years.
Okay.
There is a book I have in my library there written by Dr. Leakey, and I believe in it. The world was one before the continental drift. It was one.
Yes.
So after the drift and the bang, then some parts of eastern, the tiger countries and Europe drifted to the North Pole. It has not been contested by any European scholar that the oldest living fossil was in East Africa or the Gorge. You get it? They know. The white man lost their color because they drifted away from the equator. That is why, yes.
So
now,
they simply lost the color.
They lost the color. That's why even monkeys and baboons in Europe are white.
Are you serious?
Yes, why? It's because of the sun and the melanin. So that means...
The baboon of Europe
is white. You've seen them in movies and monkeys. They are bazungu.
Yes, the baboon is supposed to be black.
Yeah, so even the mangoes, when they are ripe in Europe, they are not yellow. They are pink because of melanin and the sun. So the color of the white man is because they lack melanin in their skin. So that means no white man has protested the fact that the oldest living fossil was ever in Africa. They all went from Africa after the continental drift. So who are you to tell me to pray to the God of Abraham and Jacob, who was traditional in Africa before they lost their color?
Hey.
They were here before they lost their color. So because of colonization, they have even painted a European God. For me, when I go to pray and close my eyes, I pray to a European God. You see how they worked on my mind. I imagine a man with gray beard.
You must be annoyed because you spent how many years in trying to become a priest?
4 years.
4 years.
So they have created a European God, a God who has lost the skin color. In my mind, in your mind. Now this is religious slavery. Because if all traditional human beings were black, and God created man in his image, that means God is black.
That God is black.
Precisely. God did not lose his color. Now, these are issues we resolve in philosophy. Even more interestingly, who told you God is a man? You sexualized God. Because the Bible was written by male chauvinists. Matthew, Mark, Luke, John. Even Mary wrote the gospel.
Mary.
But because they didn't, yes, there's a gospel according to Mary.
In the Bible?
In the Catholic Church has it. The closest person to Jesus was Mary, even at the time of resurrection. It's the same person. They are the ones who saw everything about Jesus. They even wrote their code of Jesus. But because the society has been suppressing women for over thousands of years, they only admitted the Bible written by the men in what they call the charisma. So now, those are the same men that created the male God. How do you sexualize God?
So what is God supposed to be?
At least he's not male. He's beyond sex. He's not even female.
He's not female, he's not male.
He's just God.
He's just God.
So
just call him God.
He's God. Now
just like you would say this is a tree.
Yes.
So can you say this is a female tree or a male tree?
The challenge now would be to say just call him God. So we need even another word which is not a him, which is also not a she, and yet we are trained if you use it is disrespectful. So we just say just call God God.
God.
You don't sexualize God. You don't religionize a God. You don't militarize a
tribalize God.
You don't tribalize God. Now God speaks in Acholi. He also speaks in Ruchiga. He speaks in Rutoro. He even speaks in
Spanish.
In those languages. In a language that the person speaking it does not even understand. So
and
we are
this is good.
Yes, so we are in religious slavery. For me, I believe there is God. But I don't believe in religion.
Yes.
Yes, religion is a vehicle to go to town. You'll either use a Toyota, you'll use a Nissan Patrol, we don't care. Or a bicycle. When you reach town, to me, that is God. But we are overemphasizing on the vehicle than on the destination. We are overemphasizing on the pastor than on the destination. This is where I say Africa is locked in religious slavery, and we need to unlock ourselves in that aspect.
We
need to deconstruct the mind, and the campaign has to begin.
So we have spent 2024 years chained as Africa, and we are not realizing it.
Yeah, and that's why our problems are continuing, because we are praying to a wrong God. We are praying to a European Jewish God, and yet you have left the God of your ancestors, the Maimutoro, the Jok of Acholi, the Akuch of Karamojong, the Ruhanga. Yeah. So we are praying. The prayer is missed. It's not getting network. Because how comes the African problem is just increasing? I'm not decampaigning religion. We need more churches than police stations. But the doctrine in those churches, we have to check them. I can assure you.
But Honorable, did even God have a church? Why do we need churches? Because we are here, three of us. There is God between us.
Yeah.
God is here.
That's why
this is a church. This is a temple of God. So why do you say construct a church here? 200 kilometers construct a mosque there, 300 meters construct and nowadays even they have started owning churches. That this is Pastor so and so's church. What if, when he dies? Now the other day, Bisaka, Bisaka from Kagadi died, and he bequeathed the church and the people to his son. So
even Jesus lived. A very exemplary person. The one who started saying there is life after here. These things of the world is useless. Give to Caesar what belongs to Caesar. You can pick lessons from his life. And in Matthew 15, I think 8:15, he says, beware of false prophets. So there are some pastors, reverends, and bishops. If they pray on you, in your funeral, you will go straight to hell. That's my opinion. So for me, as Otto, I communicate with my God. I don't need a middleman. I don't need a Bakayungirizi. I don't need an intercessor. Every morning and evening, I pray to God. That is part of the moment I go to church. It is fellowship. I want to meet old friends. I want to hear about vaccination, about the programs of government. I want to just meet people. But it's not that I'm going to gather in that building, 4 square walls with a roof, and then that God speaks from there. So I'm mentally relieved, and breaking the chains. Africa is going towards this direction of relieving us. And no one should threaten us. You don't use intimidation to recruit. When I was recruited in Christianity, I was told the devil has long nails. The tongue is up to there with fire. The tail, if the devil turns. And the devil was always black. And Jesus and the angels were always white. So we joined Christianity because of fear. Intimidation. Now this faith where they are intimidating people, that if you don't do this, you will go to hell. I don't think even God will be happy to receive someone who did something because he was fearing hell. God instead would
be out of conviction.
Yes. So be it as may. Because I'm threatened. Yes, be it as may. People will say, Honorable Otto, what are you saying? What I'm saying is, in one of the course units in our philosophy classes, the questions would be, construct the character of God without a religion. So, can we discern the character of God without a religion? Because religion has overdefined the character of God. Yes. If I pinch you, your face would change. It's not desirable. But when I smile, you smile. You can already see the character of God. You have to be kind and smiling to others. That's already the character of God. It doesn't need a religion. It doesn't need a church. If you go and help a needy person somewhere in a swamp, You give them food, the person feels relief. Even you, the person who gives it, feels relief. Same through Rotary. That's the character of God. So we can discern the character of God without religion, and we work towards that character of God even without going to churches. Like for me, one of the characters of God is he hates corruption. So what am I going to do? I will fight corruption using any means at my disposal. So Africans, we can discern the character of God, and we know what God wants. You have to eat, you have to excrete, you have to procreate. You don't turn sex into a business. If you turn sex into a business, you find a disease there called gonorrhea, called AIDS. It is not a shop. It is a delegated responsibility. You think you are wise, you start using a rubber and you call it condoms. You think you are wiser than the person who gave the purpose of that organ for procreation, then you get another problem. So we can discern the characteristic of God through our bodies, through our organs, and we do what is right.
Honorable Otto, in one of their threats that the Christianity is normally trading around its faithful that it wants to recruit, they say Jesus Christ is coming any time from now. Jesus Christ is coming soon. It is now 2024 years. Christians have waited. The man is not returned. Do you believe that there will be a time when Jesus Christ will come back here?
I think when you're talking about Jesus Christ, you talk about salvation. That anytime your salvation is coming. Salvation is the day you will meet your Lord. So Christ...
I will meet my Lord when I'm dead.
Yes. So when they say Jesus...
But saying he's coming back.
No, that coming back is not a physical return. Something has happened between man and God, that the doors of heaven has been closed. They don't talk from the sky like those days they would talk to Abraham. Go there, burn your child. I even wonder. You get it? The communication between man and heaven has kind of been blocked. You get it? It even makes me doubt what is in the Old Testament, because it could even be hallucination of someone saying, I heard a voice. Because then why is God not talking to us like that these days? So Christ's coming is personal salvation. To this extent, the Muslims have got it well. Because every time they pray 3 times a day, they know anytime I'm going.
They are going.
You atone yourself and prepare. Now, one advice I would give to those listening to Honorable Talk, please, if you do anything that your body is not comfortable with, like stealing, like committing adultery, like what, atone yourselves and clean your conscience. Find a way. Because if you die in that state, you will go to hell. Hell is not a physical location. Heaven even is not a physical location. Like we have phone network here, Airtel, UTL. So hell is a state of the spirits dying, which is not at peace with itself, because your spirit kills someone. You get it? That is hell. The spirit will be in hell. It is not like fire. The one of the Bible is exaggerated, that a pitless, an endless pit, that you fall while burning. At least if I had reached properly down, then burn properly. But this one, you fall like while burning, you keep falling forever. That is so rude. Actually, the Old Testament, they should write behind the Bible that parental guidance, horror.
Needed.
And horror. Because you see that the Amalekites killed 3,000 Canaanites. And you call that a holy book? If you count the number of people who have died in the Bible, is more than the number of people who have died in any war. Just from the Old Testament. From Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, that is violence. And you want me to stand at Parliament and hold that book,
Bible,
that I'm swearing with it, when there is violence inside, when they kill 3,000 Amalekites and they did not count women and children. So there is a mismatch. There is a mismatch.
Those ones were not worth counting. The children and women.
But how can a holy book talk about Bible? God is so kind to kill. And you are bragging that the God of Israel killed 3,000 Amalekites. And you call it a holy book. There is a problem there. So the issue I'm saying is, if you want to go to heaven, be at peace with yourself. Do what you feel is right.
But in Pan-Africans, we believe that heaven is here down what you do.
That is the Calvinists. The Calvinists believe heaven it begins from here and just continues. in the other world. I'm not a Calvinist. I believe the spiritual life exists in another realm out of after here. So it is safer for you to leave this realm and go when you have done good things. It is very risky to leave this realm when you have done what? Bad things. So to me, that is the whole philosophy of the African religion. So we need to free ourselves from religious slavery. Now, if these pastors are listening to me, they say that one is Satan. How? I speak for God. I fight corruption. I do what? I wake up every day. I work for humanity. I try to do something to make the world to be a better place to live.
Now, even you're a lawyer, you're fighting for the rights of the oppressed.
Yes, even I'm just going to file another application. They are evicting people from land. Over 5,000 people in Kiriandongo, Ranch 21, 22, 23. I'm fighting for humanity. I don't have to be in the church and sing loudest and think I will go to heaven. You will find me in heaven.
Hey,
Yes.
that is if I qualify to reach there.
You will, even the viewers, you'll find me there.
You'll be the one even opening for us.
It's not a physical location.
Hey.
All the spirits of this world can live in one cup. Spirits don't occupy space.
Hey,
So this Watoto church version that they open the gate is golden. You find the angel singing with milk and honey. That is hallucination. Heaven is not a physical location.
it's Honorable Dongo, Honorable Nobati Mao. This defining what heaven is like. There will be a gate for angels to welcome you, and then there will be another gate for hell, and will come with the fire. I saw him in one of
but it's not a physical location like with a gate, a door. I saw a pastor saying he was in heaven for 45 minutes. He was driving a car in the green grass. No, spirits don't live in a physical place. Like network, we cannot see network, but the phone works. But don't mistake me, God exists. We are all gambling to find out what is the best thing God wants us to do. For me, I've become agnostic, and I'm taking the traditional African approach of Ubuntu, of kindness, of love, of humanity. That is my religion.
Very good. Now, Honorable, your great-grandfathers and mine and his, many years ago, many centuries ago, were actually forced on chains, pushed, beaten. Those who couldn't manage to walk the long distance were actually killed along the way, being forced to go to Europe and work as slaves. Today, I see some people paying, fighting actually, even bribing, to go and do the same job. This is not voluntary slave trade. The other one was forced. This is voluntary, where you even bribe. I want you also to take us through. I have seen some people even jumping over the swimming through the rivers, trying to cross, and some of them die along the way. I want us, what is it in our heads? What is that?
I published a paper at the University of Pompeu Fabra on immigration.
Pompeu, that is in Spain?
In Spain, yeah, on immigration. Now, we were analyzing what are the factors that make Africans want to get out of the African continent and get to Europe. So there are several theories of immigration, but the one I believe in most was one which was postulated by a philosopher with a difficult name. Is called Zizek. Zizek, and is a current politician, a conservative politician in Europe. He said the world is like a glass house.
The world
is like a glass house. And them in Europe, they are the wealthy people inside the glass house.
For us, we are outside the glass house.
We are outside the glass house.
We're trying to
so as long as people in the glass house are comfortable, eating well, doing what, people will always try to break the glass house to get
because we are seeing them through the glass.
Yes.
We are seeing how they are living a good lifestyle.
Yes.
And for us, we are suffering.
Precisely.
So we are actually even knocking the glasses.
Yes.
Breaking down to see that we enter.
So he said for immigration to stop, there has to be a deliberate effort to make a glass for the whole world. The glass house should be extended in the whole world.
Globally.
So Europe has accumulated wealth primitively for over 500 years.
From Africa.
The wealth has multiplied, and they have built infrastructure. The public transport system is excellent.
Superb.
The health is excellent. The education is excellent. So the job opportunities are enormous. If you go to the city council hall and you have the right papers, you will even find 500 jobs. You just choose one to start working. And they have also set a minimum wage. No one in Spain was working for less than £8 an hour.
An hour?
Yes.
£8
Yes.
an hour.
So everyone in the country, whether a maid, whether a bus driver, the minimum is earning 4.5 million, the equivalent of Uganda shillings.
Per day?
Per month.
Per month?
Yes.
Okay.
The minimum. That's about £700. Then there is also a ceiling cap. You are not going to allow someone to earn 50 million like the executive director of URA, 40 million like the executive director of National Water, 100 million like the Speaker of Parliament. There is a cap. Doctors, professionals, you are not going to go beyond 7,200 euros. So everyone is in the...
Even if you are Jesus Christ.
Yes, everyone is in the same bracket. Now, that is what is attracting us. What our forefathers fought to avoid is what these whites have managed to persuade the African youth to go to Europe. Now, this is a caution. Many young people watching TVs, they are seeing the Hollywood impression of Europe, where money is in the sky, where there are nice cars, where cars are being crashed.
Hollywood.
Yes. So they think...
Which is acted.
They think when they go there, they would make it. It's not true.
Yes, it's acted.
As of now, in Europe, you don't get a work permit, and you are not allowed to employ anyone illegally until after a certain period of time. So what we need to do as African governments is to construct the social infrastructure, education, health, housing. Then we can see a situation where many of our youth would be here, and we have population control. And a few governments have done it. The ANC government in South Africa, every year they build 10,000 houses and give freely to the people. The Rwanda government has kind of done it.
Kagame.
Yes. So the problem with my country, Uganda, is that, as Joseph Stilgit said in his book, The Discontents of Globalization, he says in the preface that he wants to live long and see two countries in the world that has embraced capitalism, Uganda and Ethiopia. We are in the extreme. We have privatized everything, including religion.
Yeah.
We have privatized everything. Nothing belongs to the state. So we have taken the extreme of privatization. Even the mecca of capitalism, like the US, they have not privatized certain sectors like education, health, and infrastructure. So Uganda is a test tube. They are testing the extremes of privatization. Then they can adjust.
We are like a guinea pig.
We are the experiment. We are the punching bag. So we need to, of course, the Western world will not allow us. There is already unfair trade practice. Now, what the white man is doing, and listen to this, I'm talking as a political philosopher, not only as a Pan-African. They have started a global campaign for e-money.
E-money?
Yes. Mobile money.
Money on the phone.
Visa cards. Recently,
cryptocurrency.
Cryptocurrency, not so much. So I can predict that in the next 20 years, paper money will disappear from the face of the earth. So every money would be...
And they will be the ones to manage that system.
Now, the moment the money is digital, even Bank of Uganda has to deposit gold in HBC, the international bank in New York. All the banks of the world have to deposit monies so that international transactions can be accepted.
So, Bank of Uganda or Ugandans have to deposit physical gold.
Yes, physical gold.
And then in return, you give me.
Yes, they allow the international transaction.
But
so
I've given you a physical product called gold.
Yeah, but they allow international transactions. So that is another way from the economic perspective, where now the Western world wants to control Africa and the world forever. So every transaction between me and you, mobile money, there is a multinational company, MTN. So they are campaigning for, as of now, BOU has met all the banks, Bank of Uganda. They have started telling the banks to start campaigning for mobile money. So they want people to move for e-money because the pressure is coming from Europe. So when all the money is and digital, then the Western world can remove a percentage. When you transfer Western Union, they remove percentage. So that one, they will control the world. Unlike slavery, where you will carry one elephant trunk from Muscat to Zanzibar, and when you arrive after 6 months, they give you an option of becoming a domestic servant or a freed slave. This digital world of e-money, it is a lifetime slavery.
Hey,
You cannot run away from
they are
it.
going to enslave us
For life.
for life.
So even the traditional Mansa Musa slave trade and ivory hunting was better, because after 6 months of carrying that heavy weight, you are free. So this is where Africans and future African leaders need to think how we can break ourselves from the economic bondage. The next thing, still on economics, is demonstration effects. We consume Western
Demonstration
products.
effects, yes.
We consume Western products. Everything. The perfumes, the beers, red label, black label. I'm glad I don't take alcohol. Everything, they have campaigned to make it you feel important when you take red label, when you take Amarula.
Nowadays in the bars, when they are bringing these expensive drinks from Europe, red label and so on, do you know how they serve them? They now created, they have something they have created. It comes when it's lighting.
It's lighting. Oh yeah, I saw that.
You saw it?
Yeah.
But if you ask for a jono, they will even bring it swinging.
The other time I was at Governor for the first time in a long time, they brought some drink with lights. I thought they needed a fire extinguisher.
So theirs has to be in a certain context.
And then they say that guy is
even the people in the bar, when they see you, that this thing is being rested on your table, everybody wants to run to this table. You are the guy.
Now, where are they serving Maroa in Governor? There is no provision.
Nowhere.
Where are they serving Kwete?
Nowhere.
Where are they serving Inguli? Where are they serving Mwenge Vigere?
Nowhere.
So the whites have worked on our mindset to the extent that even if I want to go and take Maroa this evening, I have to sneak. I should not tell you, because they will say that guy is a fake man. He's local. He doesn't know how to take 4 cousins or singleton. So they have worked on our mind, and we are consuming their products. We are a great market for them. The perfumes, evening in Paris. So what should we do in Africa? In Ghana, I was in Ghana, they have made progress. They consume local drinks with pride. On every Friday, they have made it mandatory for all civil servants to report to public offices in African wares. We are not glorifying those winter clothing of a suit and a necktie. They have started altering deliberately the consumption pattern. In South Africa, they have put huge taxes for affluent imported items from Europe to allow the cottage industry of South Africa, the shoes and clothing, to develop. If you go to South Africa, you want something from UK, you'll pay 10,000 more than that thing from Africa. So African governments should fight demonstration effect. The campaign should begin in the minds of the Africans. Can you imagine there is even a McDonald's shops in Uganda?
Yes.
McDonald's. And people, they are very happy that we had McDonald's. They post pictures on social media. We had McDonald's. The moment anyone changes your religion, it changes your education system, and they change your diet, you are finished. You are not a human being.
Well, your food in home is going to be controlled by someone from the.
You are not yourself. That is why men these days are very weak. Men those days would run around the football pitch 13 times. You get what I'm saying?
Yes.
They would satisfy their spouses. They would run around. But these days, some men cannot even run 1.5 times. Because we have altered our diet. We have children going to P1, they ask them to carry pads. P1, because there is a likelihood of menstruation.
In P1?
In P3, at 8 years, girls are having periods. Why? Because we eat.
They have altered their.
We eat GMOs, chickens that grow for 6 weeks, and let me tell you, the growth does not stop in the chicken. The growth continues in you.
In the body.
Yes.
Because these are chemicals.
These are chemicals. So everything is getting a little bit upside down, and these are the economic chains that Africans should break themselves. The Indians have managed, the Chinese have managed. But the Africans, when I'm in New York, I say I'm now in New York. The pride, people even take you seriously. So we need to work on that mindset.
Yeah.
And that's why I came back to Africa. I have a Spanish identity card. I don't need a visa to get to Spain.
You even have another permit in US.
Yes. But I want to be home. So we need this more and more of this kind of campaign to free ourselves from the economic slavery.
What has worried me is that for Bank of Uganda to be given e-money in future, you needed to deposit gold or diamond or whatever, or coffee or cotton in their banks. So for them, they are asking you physical products, gold
or dollars.
But now for them, they are going to transfer simply something that you cannot even touch. At least right now we are touching money, it's dollar. But tomorrow they're going to say, have you seen the message? Yes, that is $100 million, a message.
But the message will be respected.
Yeah. That's the point I'm saying.
It's about purchasing power.
Yeah, but now, they are the ones, now, Honorable Otto, controlling your physical product called gold, and they are the ones also controlling the money, the e-money that they are going to be sending to you. It means, on both sides, you, Africa, you are dead. Because what God gave you, the gold, when you go to Congo here, the gold, the uranium, and so on, you are taking them voluntarily to their bank because you need their e-money.
Yeah.
But for them, they are not in actual sense. They are not spending on anything, giving you their e-money on phone. You are losing your gold. In return, there is nothing. They are not selling a building that they're going to get money and send it to you. No, they are simply creating a code, a coding here, system here, and send it to you.
Yeah. And that's it.
So now we have been crying that physically these guys are still in Congo here extracting minerals and taking. But now in the long run, it is you, Honorable Odonga Otto, who is in Congo, going to be extracting that gold and actually taking it yourself to their bank through your local bank, Bank of Uganda, Bank of Congo, yourself.
Yeah.
Right now we are saying, these people are here exploiting us. They are here physically. They are creating a system that in the future they don't need to be here. You will take it yourself.
Yeah.
Just like today, the religions, they left, the colonialists left, they left systems here through the religion that every Sunday you go to church, put that money in a basket, and on a Monday, the man is depositing this money on Centenary Bank. On Tuesday, it has arrived in.
That's exactly what you're saying. You know, when we borrow money from the World Bank, how does the money reach Uganda? Every international transaction is wired through HBC Bank, and at the cost of 7%, at the cost of 7 cents per dollar. So if you borrow $1 million, about 7% of that money is already the cost of transferring the money.
And you are going to pay it.
Yes. So and African presidents and in the Middle East who tried to create independent states of those things, like Saddam,
they have to be killed.
Like Gaddafi,
United States of Africa,
Ayatollah Khomeini, killed. So you want presidents who are mediocres, So it is annoying that we just got a flag independence, but the economic independence, the white man will not accept.
You are here flagging independence.
Yes. The white man will not accept. The white man will not accept for the African continent to get economically independent. Let me ask yourself, what does Britain produce and sell to the world? Nothing. But they are one of the richest countries in the world. Because of these things, these small transactions, they just sell information. The only thing now Britain is making probably is the Land Rover and flat iron and small kitchenware.
Flat iron.
Yes, they are selling nothing to the world.
Yes, but they
are one of the richest. So they have designed the system in that way. Why would Ugandan tea be auctioned in Mombasa? So we are slaves, and why would the World Bank control all economies? Currently in Uganda, we don't have a governor, Bank of Uganda.
2 years now, going to 3 years.
Yes, and you know what? They have a list of 21 people.
Who has a list?
The World Bank, whom Uganda government should choose from among.
It is World Bank.
They have the list. You are not just going to pick Odonga Otto and say it's the Governor Bank of Uganda. They will not accept.
Who are you to accept? I thought it's the president.
That is how the system is designed. Because the
Bank of Uganda is a business of Uganda. So the president, the chief executive of that country, has the power to choose Odonga Otto or Irumba.
And that
so for you, Bank of Uganda, World Bank, you bring a list of 21. Yeah. What is the interest?
No, they're people trained. They want someone who thinks like them. They want someone who thinks like them, who is a Keynesian economist. They don't want people who think differently. You get it? And they will not give you
in their system.
In their system. That is why you will not find any space scientists coming from Toro. You will not even find any space scientists coming from Pade. The moment they give you a license to go to space, you have to go to the New York, US, and test your technology and give you a license from there. Then they say you are now allowed, you are now a space scientist. And yet here in Africa, we even have traditional means and religious means of getting to the space without any fuel. The African traditional way, the spiritual way of getting there.
Yes.
So they are controlling us in all spheres.
So wait a minute, President Museveni is in a cocoon. For the last 3 years, he's having a debate with the World Bank. I think he has his list and they have their list.
Yes.
So they are having a friction. And that's why he has... what they call the deputy governor of Uganda is actually deputizing a dead body.
And he's in the list.
He's also on the list.
Yes, because he's trained by those international hyenas. So it is a closed shop. So when you're a governor, they invite you to meetings of governors in the world. They bring the latest technology. It is a continuous recruitment so that African governments can remain slaves. In New York now, they have changed the gold deposits of all the world. It is now digital. They just see on the computer. But there is a big banker where all the wealth of a nation is banked. So you will see that Uganda is a poor country. This is the gold deposit or the dollar deposits.
You just see it on...
Yeah, it is now digital, but the physical gold is there. So now we have a situation. Many people ask me, why is the government broke? People don't understand how government can be broke, yet government can print money. Before you print money, like 20,000 shillings of Uganda is printed by De La Rue, a French company in Kenya. The 50,000 is printed in Europe.
Before is printed from Kenya here?
Yes, the De La Rue. Yes, but the clearance and the protocol before you can print it is like the World Bank is properly aware. That's why they need one of their own to be the governor. So Uganda government cannot resort to what we call fiscal policy, printing money to solve a problem. Because before you print the money, you have to take the equivalent of dollars or the equivalent of gold in kind.
In kind?
Yes. So the government does not have
take it to where?
You take it to the World Bank. Yes. Before
the money I want to print is mine for my country. The gold is mine. I am bringing it to World Bank to do what? Okay, does World Bank first bring money here when they want to print?
Now, you want to print money and then change it in dollars and then lower, and then you make the dollar become valueless. There has to be a system of printing money.
Why is that system so considered that $1 is equivalent to 3,800 of Ugandan shillings? Where did they base?
Because we don't have dollars. We have failed to attract dollars here. A country like Rwanda has more dollars because the tourists are going there. A country like Kenya has more dollars. So we have failed to attract dollars. And we don't have the gold.
Yeah, but my point is it God that told them that in the world, for us to be able to measure the strength of your money, it must be against the dollar?
That is how the system is designed. Because wherever you go in the world...
So can't we defy that?
But you go with Uganda shillings in Korea, you'll die of hunger. No one wants it. It's a piece of paper. But the dollar is universally acceptable.
Designed by them.
Yeah, but it's acceptable. Whether you go to the Arab world, whether you go to Afghanistan, where they hate the Americans most, they still accept
dollar.
They still accept the dollar. You know? So we need to, now as African governments, we need to engage in activities that attract the dollar into our economies. Now, Uganda is politically too charged, and it is so insecure, like sports betting, that no one is sure of a political transition, no one is sure of tomorrow, that it becomes very risky for people to bring their dollars here. The other day, tourists were killed. So politics controls everything. Politics controls the economics.
Yeah,
now
but why should it be big news? Because 2 tourists were killed and yet 100 people Ugandans have been killed.
But of course, that is part of the economy.
How do you want to think that 2 lives of a European are more important than 100 lives of a Ugandan? That also is backwardness.
I think that's not the issue. The issue is, why should I come to your home and get killed the day I'm in your home? It should bother people. Yeah. Why? I've come to check how you are. I'm in Toro. But then I get killed, not even in an accident, deliberately. So the whole campaign is now tourism, attracting dollars, the dollarization of the global market. Uganda is not doing very well there. So we will remain slaves. We are importing cars from Japan every day, and we are using dollars. We are not manufacturing cars. Kenya is kind of assembling cars. South Africa has got the right, they're assembling cars. Cars that people can use prestigiously. And you'll find that a Ugandan would not want to drive a Ugandan car. They would want to drive an Audi. They would want to drive a Mercedes-Benz, because people will kumanyirira you if you're driving made in Uganda. So we need to work on our mindset. That's when I saw President Museveni riding the bicycle, I said he has got it right. Because he's showing that there's nothing wrong.
Not a Benz. Like I used to ride the
bicycle. So we leaders should be exemplary to our people.
Now, tell me, you are vying to be the president of this country in a Pan-African context. What are you going to do that will be different from what is happening? Because you have diagnosed all the problems of Africa, including Uganda. So as the incoming president, what are you going to do, Honorable Otto, in this context of decolonizing the mindset of Africa and Ugandans?
From the economic perspective, we need to support indigenous companies. I don't believe in investors. I have ever engaged the president of Uganda, Yoweri Kaguta Museveni. His philosophy is, you attract investors and they provide jobs to the youth. And in the process, there is knowledge transfer. But my philosophy as a future president of Uganda is, for every one job you are bringing a foreign investor, you must employ the equivalent of 11 Ugandans.
One investor, 11 Ugandans.
11 Ugandans. Because now we are having, like in Munyonyo, we have investors at the gate, foreigners. So we need import substitution. Then I will have a deliberate campaign for consuming and accepting African products. The campaign should be from the leaders. You get it? So the moment we alter that, the moment we also alter the African religion, I would personally go to a shrine as a president.
To do what?
Just to show Africa, to deconstruct the mind of the Africans from the European God.
You will go to the shrine?
Yes.
Hey.
Because the white man has made us believe that witchcraft is going to the shrine. But it's just going and appeasing with my spiritual world and renewing myself, like going to the sauna. So we need to deconstruct that mindset of the African.
And actually, when you speak like that, at the burial of the queen, the mother of this now, the current king of England, there were so many, spiritual things that were done during her burial. I think you saw some of those things that were brought and burnt in early morning, and at the entrance. If the African found you doing the same in the morning in your own veranda, they would say this man is a witch doctor.
They worked on our mindset.
But for them, when they even in the church where we pray every Sunday, don't you see the priest burning and then rotating around the church?
Witchcraft is one of the biggest industries in Europe. Even these things.
Witchcraft.
Yeah, witchcraft. Even these things in the Catholic Church of getting that smelly thing at the dead body, that chasing the devil. That is all communicating with the spiritual world. So we have thrown away ours. We have even thrown our own medicine. We have thrown our religion, and then we have adopted theirs. We will not go anywhere. So we need to start promoting the African traditional religion. We need to start regulating time of prayers. You cannot be praying at midnight. What time will people sleep? What time will people work?
Early morning at 7.
Yes. That trans night. They pray the whole night and they don't sleep in the daytime. You wonder what kind of prayers they engage in. So there should be a deliberate campaign to Africanize the religion, to Africanize the economics. And life is very beautiful here. That's what I think. Yeah. And these ideas I deeply believe in. They cannot lose an election. They cannot be killed out of me. They're the ideas I believe in. I've seen both worlds, Europe and Africa.
You've been there.
I've been there. I now know what should be done in Africa.
Honorable Odongo, as we went up, I want your word on what's happening in Palestine, the Gaza land. What is the best context of what is happening? The war there, the killing. America is supporting Israel. But then America, you know, when you look at the double standards of America in the Ukrainian war, and then what exactly is happening in Gaza is almost the same as the other side, but they are supporting what is happening in Israel, in Palestine, in Gaza, than in Ukraine. I wanted your 1 cent there.
I used to believe in the two-state solution. The Palestinian,
Palestine.
yeah, but it's not going to be feasible because the debate now in Israel is that they give a safe passage for the Palestinians to leave that land, those who want to leave. So it looks like they are very determined to fight this war and erase the whole place, and then in the next 10, 15
What
years...
they are doing is ethnic cleansing.
Yes, in the next 10, 15 years, that will all be Israel.
But do you believe that they are correct, that they should give them safe passage and leave their homeland and go where? You are giving them a safe passage to where?
There is a book written by an Israeli professor called Quincy Wright. She asked the question, into how many countries should the world be divided for the world to be at peace with itself? I have a problem with you, you want to create Toro country. You have a problem with me, you want to create Anatolia country. So the answer in that book is that the world needs to guarantee the basic rights for every individual. The moment the world can do that, the need for the country disappears. You get it? So in this Israel-Palestine case, I think it's just unfortunate. The rule of Israel is force. If force fails, rule number 2, force. If rule number 3, force fails, is force. The next prescription is force, force, force. And unfortunately, the Europeans are not so religious. They don't believe in life after here. So killing is a normal thing, like the way you kill a hen and a goat. So it's a pity. It's a developing story. I feel for the Palestinians that they're being pushed from their land. But according to the level of our human civilization, there is nothing we can do about it.
No.
There's nothing. We are not, maybe in the next 4 million years, when we evaluate what happens in Israel and Palestine, we would feel we were silly.
But then, how could God create the entire of this universe, this world, and forget to give his children, his descendants, land? Because where they are, Palestine, that land belongs to the Palestinians. So the Israelis, they don't have a place called home.
The entire Old Testament Bible is about the struggle of the Israelis and Palestinians. If you read the Old Testament, the Israelites have been displaced 4,000 years ago.
And yet they are very close to God, the creator of this
They
universe.
created their religion. The religion of Christianity emerged out of their problem, and they started thinking of someone from up to help them until they got a solution in the military, something from down. You get it? So the entire Christianity is founded on Israeli suffering. So the issue is, if that land belongs to the Palestinian, where is the land for the Israelis? Now the challenge there, we have extremists on both sides. You remember when Hamas came to power? The first thing they did, they arrested 4,500 of their own people. They divided them. Green, red, blue. The red, they killed them. They said they are so liberal, for them they want to take over Israel land. The other ones, they shot the knees to incapacitate them. And then the other remaining group, they locked them in prison. Then Hamas started saying they need the entire land of Israel. So there are those in Palestine that don't believe Israel should be there. There are also those in Israel that don't believe Palestine should be there. There are those who believe in a two-state solution. So the extremists, Benjamin Netanyahu is an extremist. The Hezbollah movement led by the president of Iran is an extremist. So the two extremes are causing problems. It's causing a clash between Christianity and Islam. So that, to me, in my opinion, will be the cause of the Third World War.
I was talking to the incoming president of Uganda 2026, to 2031. When you add 2 years, that becomes 2032.
33. Yeah,
2033.
2032, yeah.
Honorable Odongo Otto, and then myself, the incoming Minister of Information.
Yeah. We will always share information.
Seriously, Honorable Odongo Otto.
Thank you. Thank you.
I've enjoyed this. Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen. Kindly share, follow us on our social media platforms, the Spy Television, the Spy Uganda newspaper, Detective UG, and the Pan-African Pyramid. And this show runs on NBS Television on Saturday from 4 to 5 p.m. My name is Andrew Irumba Katusabe, your speaker. This has been a Free Your Mind lecture session with Honorable Odongo Otto at his home, Palace home in Namasuba. Thank you so much. I say now.
Free your mind now. Be part of People's Pan-African Parliament, the Pan-African Pyramid Debate with your speaker, Andrew Irumba Katusabe.